In this video, I'm going to show you the fastest way to get to 100K in revenue with your video podcast. And more specifically, how to do it without posting more videos, cutting more clips, and ultimately posting more content that you just don't need to post. Now, the point of this conversation is to show you how to drive sales from the middle of funnel and bottom of funnel people who may have found you through ads or have been on your list for forever, or who are just in your audience, but they haven't bought anything yet.
Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Luis Diaz. I run Top 10 Podcasts, which is a done for you video podcast agency. Over the last 10 years, we've worked with some of the biggest health, wellness, finance, real estate, entrepreneurship, and personal brands in the podcast space. So I want to tackle the problem first, because the bigger issue here that I see when I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners and people who are trying to build a personal brand is there's a belief problem. There's a belief that essentially, if we post more clips, if we do more volume, if we crank out more so average stuff on all the social channels, on YouTube, on the podcast, that somehow all of that average content is going to bring me back really high quality people just because you're everywhere. Yes, it's great to be everywhere. But if people see you posting more garbage and more stuff that they're just going to scroll past anyways, that's not helping your brand. And I get why that's kind of confusing, because at first, when you think about it, yes, if I post more, if I'm seen more, if people think I'm all over the place, then maybe they think I'm doing something right and maybe they'll want to buy from me. And that's what every podcast agency, marketing guru, social media expert will tell you: to be everywhere, to post 3, 4, 5, 10 times a day. Do what Gary Vee's doing, do what Alex Hormozy is doing, do what all these other people are doing. And there's a big difference between you and them that I think nobody really covers, or they skim over this and just focus on the volume. Yes, the volume's good. But if you miss what they're posting and understand what they're doing in their posts, you posting random clips and you just putting out more garbage isn't going to help anybody. So before we start posting more, before we crank out any more volume, and if we just jump to volume, you'll have this problem. We need to take a step back. All right. Now, if you're in the spot where you're like, I'm just starting to post more, I've just hired a new editor, I've just hired a new team, just hired a new agency to get me to from like maybe 2 posts a day or 1 post a day or 1 podcast a week to 3 or 4 or whatever. All right. I want to just paint the picture for you. And if this sounds like you, then I would definitely tell you to stop. And then we're going to get to, after this, we're going to get into those 2 ways to convert bottom and middle funnel leads, I promise. But I think this is so important. If you're doing this right now, then this is the biggest thing you can stop doing so that you can start focusing on the stuff we're going to talk about here in a second that's going to help move the needle on those middle and bottom of funnel people. So number 1, if you're recording more and getting more views, but your conversions don't move at all, that's a sign that you're just putting out a bunch of average content, and it's probably not your volume. It's more of a qualitative issue. Number 2, you're spending money on editors, production tools, clipping tools, and software, and that's being translated into more movement, more clips, but the right type of people aren't engaging with your stuff. So you're posting stuff, getting views maybe, but there's no comments, likes, or there's no qualitative measures that you're reaching the right people. You can also look at the analytics of this and look at your stats and see, am I reaching the right people? And if it's no, then we need to stop doing this. And then number 3, you're getting engagement from maybe your peers and your friends and maybe like your competitors or your colleagues in the industry, but your ideal customers are not sending you DMs, they're not booking calls, they're not silently looking at your funnel, you're not seeing any of the page views on like your opt-in pages or your homepage. None of that stuff's actually moving. So you're just seeing a bunch of activity and people are saying, I'm seeing you everywhere. But the people who are saying, I've seen you everywhere, are your friends that you've met at events, or they've worked with you, or they're just already super warm and in your funnel. So it doesn't really matter that they see you. That's great, but like that's not the type of people we're trying to reach. So those are the 3 things. If those sound like you, then I implore you to stop doing this, stop doing more volume, and start doing what we're about to talk about here in a second. So what I want to show you is, before you do the volume, before you start spending more money on clips, on editors, on fancier editing and fancier production and more software, more tools, I want you to take a step back and I want you to think about what you're actually putting out. Okay. So one of the things that I've learned, and I've got some case studies and some examples here to share with you, is we actually don't need fancier editing or more volume. We actually need content that shifts the beliefs of your prospects who are already in your funnel, so that we can knock down those things that are stopping them from buying from you. And then that way we can get them to move to the next level. This is something I've actually seen in our clients, and I've seen it work time and time again. Producing belief shifting content is going to move those people who are already in your funnel. They maybe heard about you, they've watched the VSL, they are in your email or on your email list, they follow you on social media. It's going to move those people, okay, who are closer to the conversion hole. They're going to move those people down onto a book call or into buying a low ticket product or into some other metric that shows that, hey, they raise their hand and now they're interested and ready to spend $1 with you. Okay. We need belief shifting content. We don't need more surface level, top of funnel content that I see a lot of people posting, and a lot of people are trying to go from top of funnel content, really high level, surface level stuff, to now getting people to buy. Like we're skipping too many steps there. So there's two ways to do that. I'm going to share with you one now, and then we're going to get to one in a second here after that. That's a little bit more direct and simplistic. And this was first hammered home to me by one of our clients, Mark. Mark was already spending money on ads. He had people coming into his funnel. He had people watching his VSL. He had a lot of people interested in his audience that were not quite ready to buy. They were interested, but they weren't ready to buy just yet. So we launched a very lean podcast with him, meaning we didn't do a lot of heavy production. We didn't do a lot of heavy promotion. We didn't do any paid ads or anything like that. In 6 episodes, he generated about $25,000. The first 6 episodes, we dropped those in about 4 weeks. So first month he's in, he's already generated about $25K in revenue. Now, none of those people came from being cold to sold with just a podcast. All of those people were already on his email list. They were already in his funnel. They already have maybe watched his VSL. They maybe booked a call but didn't attend. These were people in the middle to bottom funnel area. That's money just waiting to be collected on. The thing that was different from Mark and other people that I've seen with podcasts and who have this situation where they are spending money on ads, they are spending money on other top of funnel marketing activities, but they're not generating revenue, is that Mark's first 6 episodes were all belief shifting content. They were all talking about old beliefs that in the episodes he shifted to getting people to believe a new thing. So for example, like on this episode, the old belief, the belief that most people here watching this probably have is that I need more volume. I need more clips. I need to post 5 times a day on YouTube, 5 times a day on Instagram, and that will make me famous and also inherently have more money. That's actually just not true. So that's the old belief that people have. The new belief is that you need to create content that shifts people's beliefs into buying from you. All right. And that's exactly what Mark did. That's why he did 25K in basically a month, which was insane. Just 6 episodes. And I'll throw up some screenshots here of some of the stuff he sent and shared with me, which was always super fun to hear. But that's the power of this. If you have a lot of people in your pipeline, whether you're a high ticket service business or whether you're a low ticket, like a D2C packaged goods or some kind of e-com seller, you can do this. This is about shifting the beliefs that your prospect has on the episodes, talking about what they probably already believe. Why is it false? Here's the proof that it is false. Here's the new belief that you need. Okay. That's number one. That's strategy number one. If you have a lot of leads already, I beg you to start creating content that shifts beliefs. Then you can focus on scaling it to the moon and having content, having more clips out there once you figured out that it converts and then it works. You'll know that it converts because you'll see a couple of things. Number one, you'll see more book calls. You'll see more views on your landing pages and more clicks on lead magnets or other types of opt-ins. You'll see more DMs from interested prospects. You'll see more people talk about how your content resonated with them and actually struck a chord with them. Those are things, qualitative signals that you're working right. Also, from a YouTube perspective, you'll also start to see higher retention and better click-through rates on your videos. Mostly higher retention is going to be your biggest North Star. So AVD, average view duration. Now, the same thing actually happened with Margie. When she actually came and worked with us, or when she started, she was trying to cover 2 main topics on her podcasts, on her videos. You could see it wasn't working. The views were flat. The growth was flat. People weren't opting in or weren't moving, converting it as well as they should from the YouTube channel to her main site, to her email and her email list. What we ended up doing was we cut one of the main topics. So we only talked about one specific thing. We repackaged a lot of her videos, her titles, so that it spoke to that one ideal listener. And then we focused on the topics that were actually working. So we knew and we found out through the data that her audience really cared about 2 to 3 things within this main topic of content that she was putting out. So we doubled down on that. And from when we started, you can see the graph on the screen now. From when we started, she was at 3,000, I think, subscribers. Now today, as of this recording, she's at 18,000 subscribers plus. And as a result of that, there's more people on her list, and she's making more money with her supplement sales on the back end because more people are resonating with the content, and more people are moving to her email list, and more people are buying. Now, the reason and the main catalyst of that was because we shifted the topics, we shifted the content to focusing on one, the things they want, but then also two, layering in what Margie believes, which she's a great coach. She helps people with osteoporosis very, very well. And she has certain beliefs around how to help people with osteoporosis. So what we did is we focused on what are the beliefs that Margie has that can help those people with their problem. Same thing applied in a little bit of a different way from Mark, but the same thing there that moved the needle. Instead of fancier editing, instead of more editing, she's still doing the same amount of volume. Instead of posting more on social media, nothing crazy. All right. So this is just like, these are just two simple case studies that I've seen where we didn't need more volume. We didn't need fancier editing. We didn't need more AI tools. We just needed to change the actual meat and quality of the content and then move the needle. And I mainly mean shifting the beliefs of our prospect before we start going crazy with volume. Now, the second way to generate and to get to 100K really, really quickly with your podcast is to actually interview your ideal prospects. Okay. Typically, this is going to happen through cold email, doing cold outreach, or doing an email blast to your list saying, hey, I'm looking for prospect, or I'm looking for interviewees who I can help on the call. Now, there's two shows that have done this really, really successfully. If you look at Pat Flynn's Ask Pat 2.0 and the More Cheese, Less Whiskers podcast with Dean Jackson, those podcasts are basically designed to just speak to their ideal customers and then help them in a way that is really genuine and also knocks down a lot of beliefs, and then also helps convert people on the back end. So if you have an email list with a lot of prospects, if you have a Facebook group where you've just cultivated and added value for years, and now you have a podcast that you can now interview people, help them with a problem, and then soft sell on the back end of that, you will get to 100K really, really quickly. And I've seen it over and over again. Actually talking to a guy yesterday who's a fractional CTO who is doing this in his niche, and it's working. He's got no brand. He's barely just started, almost like maybe a couple of years ago, he just started this business. And this is his entire pipeline. So that's a really simple strategy. If you want to check out, I have a free download where we teach our clients how to do this if they want to do this for a season of their podcast, or if they want to do it for the entirety of their podcast, they can do that too. All right, so make sure you check out the links below this video or podcast, whatever you're listening to this from, to get some of the resources we talked about. And if you want an audit from my team, normally we charge $2,000 for an audit. If you want an audit and you reference this video in particular, we will do it for free. And there's no obligation to work with it at the end. There's no hard sales pitch or anything. It's a free audit to help you figure out where you're at, what kind of belief shifting content you need to start talking about, and how you can start doing that immediately. Okay. That's a customized audit for myself and my team. We have a number of AI systems that actually will go through and look at your stuff and give us really good feedback. And then we go through it with our own expertise and we curate the best ideas for you and then present them to you. All right. So that's it. If you like this stuff, subscribe to the channel, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks again.